Hi everyone, today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Miniart, and it's a kit in 135 scale. So we get here the repair track, which is based on G7117, and it's so called 1.5 ton 4x4 truck, and we reviewed the previous editions before, so in case you were watching the channel before, you might be familiar with this plastic, but today we are getting exactly what we are seeing here on the box art, and the kit number 35494 coming in its final shape, so it means that you will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review. And I have to say that the variety in this vehicle series is quite wide, and here, for example, you can see the small hint that you can combine it also with the bulldozer from the same brand. I reviewed the armored version, as far as I remember, from Miniart in 135 scale, so in case you're interested, you know where to find it. So, first of all, the box size is typical for this brand. Here you can see comparison with my hand, and the box art is really good. It's coming from Booth, so there is no surprise in that. And also here you can see some safety advices. We also have some addresses and address of the manufacturer, and also some more safety advices that it's not a toy and blah blah blah. Here we also have the small hint that the decals are printed in cartograph and you shouldn't be worried about the quality. And here we have 4 marking options which are included here, and as you can see, they are also showing the different assembly options for this truck, but we will talk more once we open the box and check the assembly manual, but we will also see the parts first. As you can see, it's a bit of a tight fitment for the top lid, that's why I'm struggling to remove it, but inside there is plenty of space, surprisingly. I was at first wondering why such a tall box is actually used here, but as you can see, it's not exactly filled up to the top, so I guess it was done exactly to preserve all of the parts intact and avoid any unnecessary pressure damage which might happen in some kits. Okay, so now I'm going to cut through the plastic bag. It's a sealed plastic bag, so that's why it should be cut through with the scissors, and it's rather quick. In the meantime, I again remind you that you can also find some other novelties from Miniart. They are easy to find on my channel, and of course they are also quite interesting because they recently venturing into the aircraft genre as well, and they have quite decent kits in a 148 scale, so in case you are interested in that, definitely check them out. And these are real subjects, because before they were releasing some what if vehicles or aircraft, and now we have the real ones which were flying in World War II. Now I'm trying to remove the P thread and also the clear plastic sprue and also the metal chain from the separate plastic bag. So first of all, here we have the metal chain. I will just zoom in, and you can see that it's a really welcome bonus, because you won't have to search yourself trying to find this item for the build, and believe me, it's quite important, because in 135 scale such a small thing actually makes the difference. And next we continue here with the decals. So as you remember, they are coming from cartograph, that's why the printing quality looks great. And we have even some poster here, and we have some dials here for the instrument panel. I guess you can find more posters to play inside if you would like to, but I think it's still a nice touch to have them included here. As for the clear parts for the front cap, they look like this, and as you can see, the molding quality looks decent, but masks or masking templates are not included here, so in case you would like to have a nice paintwork on these parts, you have to cut your own stickers, or you can try to find some aftermarket in order to get a decent result. Next we continue with the P fret. Here I will zoom out a bit. As you can see, it's unpainted P fret, it's wrapped into the film from both sides. As I usually recommend, peel off the film only from one side, this way you will avoid parts jumping around the table, but overall quality is really good. This is the traditional bonus for Miniart, so that's why I don't have any thing to say about this item. It's more of a handy thing to show more features on your truck. Next we start with the first small plastic sprue. This one will be obviously used for the equipment inside the rear side of the truck, and it looks decent. The assembly process should be quite straightforward. As you can see, we have also some guiding elements, so there is quite a simple design to work with. Next we continue with the sprue DB, And here you can see also the parts for the rear section. I will have to zoom out a bit so that you can see the whole frame in one shot. So we have these panels with the guiding elements, guiding pins to be exact, and also we have separate tabs for the main chassis, but as you can see everything is nicely molded. The attachment points are thin enough in order to carefully separate the part without damaging it, so I don't think you will have any problems here either. Next we continue with the tarp for the rear section. So as you remember, we can assemble the covered version and you have to assemble the tarp out of those sections, and this is where it might get tricky because you have to get the smooth connection or join between those parts, so that's why pay attention. But the surface details, they are looking quite good. I really appreciate what Miniart does with these things. I guess the next step is to get this tarp cover in one piece, and then it would be very impressive. And as you can see inside, it's made compatible with the supports which will be installed inside. So it's not like if you are assembled the cover version, then you avoid using some parts. No, you still use them because that's how it was on the Rio truck. And next we continue with the interconnection between the sprues. So here I would like to show it first with the front cap parts, and here as you can see we have a lot of things actually included into these separate sections. And well, the doors should be molded separately, you will find them here, and this is very handy in 1/35 scale. This is the firewall, which will be also from the opposite side the instrument panel installation point. And also here we have the steering wheel, the separate windscreen frame, and also the door cards are here. If I flip over this plastic sprue here inside, as you can see, there are not that many features in the front cap panels, but this is how it was on the Rio truck, so do not be surprised by this. And I would say it should be molded or designed like this, and there is nothing wrong with it. Okay, next I was just trying to place the sprue in a proper shape, but here you can see also some storage boxes for the rear section. So again, a lot of pre-molded features, and for example this drawer you won't be able to open it because, well, here the doors are molded shut, and here from the opposite side you can see we have the guiding element. So at least this, but that's pretty much all you will be able to do. Next we continue with some type of the generator here. So again, quite nice molding quality. Some of those items I think we actually have seen in the previous releases from Miniart, because they were releasing some stuff in the separate accessories sets, garage equipment and stuff, so that's why it might be familiar for some of you who are following their latest releases in 1/35 scale. Next we continue with the wooden rice board for the rear section, and also here you can see the plastic wheel rims which will be used for the wheels obviously. But why I'm a bit slow, because usually they are replicating the tires with help of the separate sections, but here the tires are molded as a one piece. Still it is good, but you will have to be careful while joining everything together. And we still get the surface details here on the tire walls. I think this is quite important for a 1/35 scale kit. Next we have quite an interesting sprue with equipment. Here the most notable thing is that due to the pressure this cable actually slightly broke down, but it's easy to fix. You just need to connect these two ends, and maybe some others will even replace it with their own metal wire. But this is already your decision because it will require some extra precision as well. Next we continue with an engine and gearbox. So as you can see, the engine is assembled out of several parts, and I would say it's nicely detailed. So for some build ideas it might be actually a useful thing in order to open the bonnet and show that it's not empty inside. There is actually a nicely detailed engine which is supplied out of the box. You don't have to buy it, and this is also quite cool. Next we continue with the various gas bottles. So these ones are the part of the equipment which will be placed in the rear section. Next we have another portion of the storage drawers. Here it is. Note that the shelves again are pre-molded, so you have to carefully paint them probably. Might be a good idea also to replicate some weathering on this. Then also those raised boards on the rear section. No wooden surfaces here, but I would say it's a standard for any Miniart truck kit. So if you would like to have some wooden replication here, you will have to do it with your own hands and tools and maybe paint approach. I'm just checking here the bonnet panels. For me, it's always nice to see that this front grille is actually assembled or molded as a one-piece part. For some others, it will be very useful because they don't want or they cannot deal with the PE parts due to their bad eyesight. So here you get a one-piece part which can be easily installed into the right spot. Next, we continue with the supports for the tarp, which I was mentioning before. So as you can see, they are supplied on 2 plastic sprues, and they are molded as one-piece parts. Again, I'm really impressed that Miniart is actually paying attention to such small things, and well, they are also useful for the open version, so that's why they are also supplied here. Next, more of the tools for the rear section. Again, very nice details. And next, we continue with the quite an interesting device. I'm not sure where it will go. If you know, feel free to write in the comment section. But this thing is supplied in 2 plastic sprues, so keep it in mind. Next, we continue again with the interconnection of the plastic sprues. So here, for example, we have the main chassis bars. You can see them as a large parts pre-molded together with the leaf springs. Here we have also the jerry cans and also more of the various equipment which will be used on the truck. But that's not all. We have one last gray plastic sprue. It looks like this. I will just zoom out. And now you can see that here we have the mix of the parts, for example, the bonnet, and then the fuel tank, and the spare wheel, and the radiator grille, and the wheel fenders, and the leaf springs, and the exhaust here. All of these things are just combined together, so that's why pay attention to which part you need to use. They are not supplied in a spare versions, especially for the tiny ones, so that's why it's very important not to lose anything out of this package. And next we continue with assembly manual. So this one is printed as the color printed brochure. I wanted to say black and white, but no, Miniart does not do such stuff, unlike some other brands. So here we have the brochure with a short list of the features. And next we have first 2 marking options here. So as you can see, the open rear section and also covered with the tarp. Next we have the parts map. They still do not show which parts are not used. I don't know why they're so stubborn about it. Next we start with assembly process. So it starts with the main chassis and it's quite straightforward, but note that here straight away you are using the PE part, so be ready for this. And it continues on the next pages, so you won't be able to avoid it, especially if you would like to get a more or less convincing finish on your truck. There are a lot of tiny things actually copied with the metal parts. Here we continue with an engine and gearbox. We assemble also the front cap, and here you can see the exhaust installation, and the front cap assembly continues with the dashboard, steering wheel, doors, and doors can be assembled in open or closed window version. The same can be said about the windscreen as far as I remember. Here you can see it. And also there are a lot of things for the rear view mirrors, screen wipers. And also note that the front grille can be still assembled, or this ram bar if you prefer. It can be assembled out of PE parts. So this is plenty of work, but you have the special shaping parts. So if you're brave enough, you can go with this. If you're not brave enough, you have the option to use the plastic part, which was quite decent as you remember. So I think for some modelers it will be an easy way to get the kit done. By the way, the bonnet is also shown as the assembly option in the manual. And this is quite important because you're using the separate parts for this. Next, we continue with the rear section finally. So here you assemble a lot of panels together. Again, plenty of PE parts being used as well. And the chain can be found here. And next, we have installation of the rear panel. We also have the tarp assembly and the towing cable assembly here. Equipment assembly is separated into another section. And as you can see, there are plenty of items. Again, they are combined with PE parts for some, so pay attention to this. And of course, it's a good idea to pre-plan how you will be painting all of this stuff, because in some cases it's only the brush painting. And here on the last page you can see 2 other marking options for this truck. But overall, I think it's a really impressive combo in 1/35 scale. It should be already available, so you can get it in Modelimex web shop. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion. So what do you think about such release? Write it here in the comment section section below. And I will see you in the next video review. As usual, thank you for joining me today, and bye.